Hi everyone, today we're going to look at try catch block in C sharp. So we are going to look at the exception handling in C sharp, right? So let's get started without wasting much time. Let's go ahead and look at the design. So we have this form designed in C sharp where I have two text boxes and one is for the dividend and one is for the divisor. So what do you want to do is to simply perform a simple arithmetic operation, which is a division on this. We want to accept the input from the user as the dividend and the divisor as an input again from the user and then divide the two. So let's go ahead and double click at this button where we will perform our arithmetic operation. So let's go ahead and zoom so that you can see. Right, in this we are going to type something like we are going to declare two variables for the dividend and the divisor. So or of data type int, right, int, and we can say num1. This is the dividend, then is assigned to int dot pass text box 1 text like this, and we're going to declare another integer variable again in num2 assigned to um dot text like this, right? So we have declared two variables and initialized them. So from there, what I'm going to do, we are going to say um result. Let's put it as a double. Let's say double result, right? And then assign to an arithmetic operation like num1 divided by num2 like this, right? So that's it. This is the arithmetic operation which we are going to perform, and we are going to say to insert this value or display it in a message box. So I'm going to say message box dot show, and we are going to say result dot to string like this. I'm going to show the result in a string format. So let's go ahead and run this so that you can see how it is going right now. This we are not yet implementing the try catch. I want to show you the result from this operation without a try catch, where it will crash when we divide by 0. So that's it. Let's go ahead and run it. Right, the program is executed. Let's go ahead and give the first input as time. I give the second divisor as 2, like this, and divide. Right, you can see we have this result as 5. Right, that's it. So this means that the execution has no problems, but when we try to pass the second input as 0, you can see we will have this exception. Right, you can see we have this exception where it is called divide by 0 exception was unhandled. So we are going to implement the try catch block so that we can handle this uh, in our code. So let's go ahead and stop at debugging. All right, so we have to implement the try catch block so that we can handle this. So let's go ahead and cut all of this. Let's cut it. Right, so firstly, when you're declaring a try catch block, you have to declare the try first. So you type try like this and open curly braces, right? So in this we are going to paste our code, right? We want to execute this when inside the try catch block, and this block is going to be executed whenever there are no problems. We are going to execute all statements in this, but when there are errors on a certain line, then the code will then jump from this try. So this try catch block avoids the code from crashing or from returning back to code. So we are going to catch the exception now is going to be displayed in this catch block. Whenever we find an exception inside here, we are going to have that exception code here and then displayed in this block. So I'm going to say catch and declare the exception, then ex, right? And in this we are going to display the message box with that message, the exception message ex.message, right, like this. So by this statement, we are just displaying the exception in a message box, right? Instead of crashing, the exception is just being caught and displayed, and the program continues running so that you can remove the inputs and try another input again. So after that, we have to use the finally, this finally, right? This finally block is executed after even when this program encounters an exception and it fails to execute some statements. This is by default, it is going to be executed after everything. So this is the default message you wanna show whether the exception was found or not. So you're going to show it in a message box again, message box.show. What do you want to show? You want to show executed finally, right, like this. So that's it. So this is what we call try catch block in C sharp. You can see we have just all declared our try and then paste our code inside the try block and then declared an exception and catch it here and then display it in a message box, and then finally want this block to be executed. So let's go ahead and run so that you can see what the difference, right? So on the initial example, you saw that the program crashed and returned back to a code. So now the program is not going to crash whether you put the input as 0. Let's go ahead and put 4 and put 0 so that you can see, right? Exactly. You can see this message attempt to divide by 0, and the program doesn't crash, but it will, and this you can see the finally has been executed. So the program, it doesn't crash, but it will just remain so that you can change the inputs and divide again. So as this, you now see the output without the program crashing. That's it. So this is all about a try catch block. Is just an exception handling in C sharp. So you can see we have the try and then the code inside the try and the catch and then the exception being displayed from the catch block, and then finally the final block which will be executed whether the exception was found or not. So this is all about exception handling in C sharp. Thank you. Have a nice time.